talk about national security for just a second. Look at our borders. Look at South Texas. Look at South Arizona. Look at South California. The borders are basically unprotected. Excuse me. Now, I've talked to immigration people. They have said 3 to 5% of the people that come across the border are illegal aliens and get caught. Others don't get caught. 3 to 5% of the contraband get caught. And that's all. So we've got to protect our borders. If we don't protect our borders, we won't have a country to protect. You know that, don't you? Let's talk about the national deficit for just a second, because we are in debt over to our eyeballs, as the old expression used to say. We are in debt up to here. We owe 30-some countries all kinds of big money. They live off the interest that we're paying. I think we need to create a fair and a balanced trade policy with our friends and with our friends across the seas. And I would present a bill to cut all budgets 25% across the board except for national defense, and work to eliminate all unnecessary spending that we have to work with. We simply cannot afford it. Spending has corrupted the incumbents. It is so visibly seen in our last health care when the people were selling their votes and to the highest bidder. Bribery is going on just right in front of us, our very eyes. This is not America. We don't want this. This is not the American way, and we don't want to stand for it. So spending has corrupted them, and no doubt about that. One last thing I'd like to speak for just a second on is term limits. Ladies and gentlemen, I understand the power of the vote. The power of the vote, I believe, this time is going to take over. I believe we saw it in Massachusetts. I think we're going to see it this time in Texas. I think we're going to see the power of the vote come through. Now, if the power of the vote cannot control the corruption in government, then I'm prepared to bring an amendment to the Constitution to say that the senators can serve 2 6-year terms, the House of Representatives can serve 6 2-year terms, and ladies and gentlemen, my job is to reconnect the Congress with the people. My mission is to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States of America. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you, Mr. Copeland. We appreciate that. And too bad Mr. Howell is not here to give his side. His view. Maybe next time. And the 4 or 5 others, they're invited too. On the Republican side, there is a fight, I believe, for the county judge spot. Is that true, or is it just 1? 2? Okay. Would you 2 gentlemen come forward, please? Brown and Mr. Carl. Okay. Well, Mr. Carl, since he's not here, I will turn the mic over to Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis, for putting this together, and bless you, Ms. Lewis, for dealing with Harry. I know that's a tough job. I served on some committee with him. I'd say you'd be a handful sometimes. But thank you for your efforts and your dedication to the forum. I'm here tonight to ask for your support for Hopkins County Judge. Leslie, my wife, and I both grew up here in Hopkins County. Together we're raising 3 daughters. I've got Katie, Tally, and Joby all here with me. Ages 7, 3, and 7 months. So we have to wrestle them some days, but hopefully they'll be good for us tonight. Leslie and I chose to stay here and raise our children because we enjoy the quality of life here in Hopkins County. We enjoy the way we were raised here, and we wanted to bring our girls back and raise them here with that same quality. And that's why I'm running for judge, to help continue that quality of life for us all here in Hopkins County. Just to give you a little bit of insight on my line of thinking, I'll tell you I'm conservative. years ago that some church members were pushing for me to take a finance chair at the church. Another member that had no idea what was going on, there was a little resistance from the pastor from that. A friend of mine went up and said, "Hey, have y'all found anybody for finance chair yet?" He said, "Well, we've got a name, but he's just a little too conservative." And he said, "Well, y'all think about Chris Brown?" And he came up to me and told me that, and I just laughed because I knew that's what I finally learned why he had some reservations about that. Well, wasn't long after I was finance chair. I think that was a pretty good endorsement. So, but to really give you a true insight to how my mind works, I think a little better definition of that would be stewardship. And this applies to not just stretching a dollar, but stretching the material possessions too. I'll tell you, I drive an 05 model truck with over 100,000 miles on it. It's clean, it runs great. I put about 40,000 of those miles on it myself. I just can't stand the thought of purchasing a new truck and taking that depreciation. That's money that I feel like's wasted. But I'll give you a counter example. When you're talking public safety and you're talking law enforcement vehicles, you've got to depend on those vehicles, and you've got to know that they're gonna work for you. So just to give you a contrast of kind of how my mind works and what stewardship means, there's one of the better examples I can think to lay out for you. Now, along those lines, government normally doesn't lend itself to efficiency. And I think that's one thing we really need to focus on is bringing more efficiency into government, into running it more like a business. We've got to find ways to cut costs. To bring that attitude and to bring that leadership in, you have to start with the county judge position. And you've got to work with every elected official to have that mindset. The judge has to lead in that philosophy. He's got to be willing to work closely with the officials, not just say, "Hey, cut your budget and bring me something a little more slim next time." You got to get in the trenches and work. You got to find ways to cut budgets, and you got to work together as a team. And that philosophy comes right from that judge position. Along those lines, we also need an expanded tax base. The judge is the face for the Hopkins County. Now, not only to others in the state and federal government, but to new businesses and to industry. We have to work closely with economic development, and we have to be able to bring them in and give them the services that will attract them. That brings us to focusing on technology. Now, friends, Grandma wants her high-speed internet, and there's places in this county that you can't get it, not for under $100 a month. There's places in this county where you don't have cell phone service. That's another area we have to focus on, because that's where we've got to be able to move more people into this county. We get passed by time and time again because people can't get what are now common and needed services.